Two men have been indicted by a grand jury for running a massive YouTube Content ID scam that made them more than $20 million. Now, to understand how a scam like this is able to happen, you first have to understand YouTube's Content ID system. So whenever you go to upload a video to YouTube, there's basically these bots that scan your video for any copywritten content. And it could be anything like music, which is what was used for the fraud in this case, or it could be video that is copywritten. Now, in my personal experience and in most other content creators' experiences, this system is way too sensitive to claiming things as copywritten. And the system also doesn't really seem to comply with fair use that much, if at all, which is supposed to allow you to legally use copywritten work in certain circumstances. Okay, so this isn't even something that YouTube has made up, like copyright and fair use. It's actually the law. All right, you're allowed to use copywritten material if your video is transformative in nature. So response videos, for example, those are probably the most basic example of free use where you're reviewing or you're responding to some other type of copywritten material. But that still counts, especially if you're pausing the video or whatever copywritten work very frequently and then responding to different bits about it. Or my anime memes, for example. These are very transformative in nature. I'm basically taking a scene from an anime in a totally different direction than what the original artist intended. And there's no way that someone could legitimately claim that this is taking away revenue from the original creator. Nobody watches Yuki Installs Gen 2 and then thinks that this is the original Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. But it was YouTube that designed this Content ID system to be so sensitive that in some cases, even a 4-hour-long podcast, if you were to play a 5-minute clip from CNN somewhere in it, your whole video could get a Content ID claim for stealing content from CNN, which is utter nonsense. And to fight this, because it is a legal claim that is being made on your video, it usually involves getting lawyers to go to court and, fight against the person or corporation who is making the claim. That's why my videos, as well as NT Dev's videos about the Windows XP leak, got removed from YouTube because Microsoft made the content claim, and well, I don't think I can win a legal battle against Microsoft. So most of the time when this Content ID claims are made, a video that the content creator made, usually they just let it go. They let the video get removed, and any ad revenue that would have been made from the video gets paid to the copyright holder of that content instead. And the amount of money and royalties that YouTube is paying people through this Content ID system, it's to the tune of billions of dollars, and they've taken down hundreds of millions of videos. So with a system like this that is so broken and throwing so much money around, they're basically asking for some type of fraud to take place, and that is exactly what happened. So Jose Terran and Webster Batista, they started their scam back in 2017 when they became officers for the company Medium of LLC. And they ran their scam all the way up to as recently as April 2021. So they began monetizing music, and eventually they amassed a library of 50,000 songs, over 50,000 songs, none of which they actually owned the rights to. They just claimed that to YouTube and to an intermediary company by the initials of AR, who administers and issues payments to those who claim music on YouTube. In the contract that Medium of had with AR, they claimed to be the writers, authors, publishers, copyright holders, and creators of all of this music. Now, at least 3 of those claims, the writer, author, and creator part, I'm pretty sure are impossible when we're talking about 50,000 songs. Even Viper has only created a few thousand songs in his lifetime, and this man seems to create a new album every week. So this claim was incredibly sus from the beginning. And the variety of the music being claimed by these guys was also incredibly sus. But the scammers just said, oh, we want to bulk clear all of the potential copyright conflicts that are coming from MediaMov's entire music catalog. So music like this was getting claimed by them. I think a lot of the music that these guys were claiming was in Spanish. Like if you look up MediaMov and some of the complaints that are being made about them, a lot of it is in Spanish. But yeah, they would claim things like this song. And then there were also posts like this being made about MediaMov. So you can see this is 2 years old. Okay, again, they've been doing this for a while now. This is talking about Doki Doki Literature Club's soundtrack. So they're trying to claim that they own this music as well as Doki Doki Media Club. Okay, I don't think anybody is owning both of these at the same time. I guess that they were just going through trying to claim whatever they could, just whatever wasn't in YouTube's copyright content ID system already. There's also this Twitter account that was created years ago called Fuck MediaMov that would document some of these different fraud cases that different content creators were reporting. Because anytime you get a content ID claim on your video, it tells you what company is making this claim. All right, so they would see things like this, that it's coming from MediaMov. And again, this was known for years and years. Only now is something actually being done about it. There was even a complaint made on YouTube's Spanish support forum back in 2017, and it has more than 150 replies. And at that time, YouTube basically just said, oh, how about you just go through the regular system, follow our standard procedures for contesting a content ID claim, which of course was useless. And to make things worse, Batista and Terran weren't just stealing money from content creators whose videos were getting copyright claims, but they didn't even pay a single penny to the artist that actually created the music. They kept it all for themselves, and they used it to buy real estate, new cars, and jewelry. Now, obviously, these guys are scumbags for running this scam, stealing money from other content creators on the platform, but also, YouTube is a scumbag for designing a content ID system that can so easily be manipulated and allow a scam like this to happen. And there's been small-time fraud going on with this content ID system long before this huge MediaMov scam. You would think that YouTube, who put over $100 million into developing this content ID system, they would make it, I don't know, verify the content ID claims that are being made against people. At this point, it almost seems like YouTube is purposefully trying to make their platform worse. Will any of the content creators that got money stolen from them because of this be paid back? Probably not. Will channels that got deleted for copyright strikes be restored? Because in case you guys didn't know, if you get 3 copyright strikes on your channel, it gets deleted. Probably not. Sure, these guys got caught, but until the underlying technology is fixed, it's just a matter of time until someone else comes along and scams this content ID system for millions more.